Afternoon, grade 12s. This is Mr. Mahano once again. And then as we continue about the PET, then we spoke about information management yesterday. So then the steps and the methods that we have to take when conducting our research. Then so now we are continuing. Before we start, then I just want to put more emphasis on our practical assessment task. Like I said yesterday, that will be just a continuation of what we did yesterday, because this is a very integral part of the concept that almost integrate everything that we did, like I said yesterday. So then if you miss out here, that means you can't do well on your PET. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to know about dishonesty and non-compliance on your project, practical assessment task. In the event of the valid reason, the learner declaration of authenticity need to be signed as well. So like the most important thing in phase 1, then we've got addendum C. Learner must not get help guidance from other without acknowledgement. I spoke about this, guys, yesterday. Like I said, whatever any source of the information that we use in order as to help us to answer our problem that we have, we need to make sure that we acknowledge that. So by using both in-text referencing and end-text referencing, of which is your bibliography. Now here they claim that get help or guidance from other without acknowledgement thereof, like a teacher, no over guidance should be given to the learner. And then how much is too much, then that we must know. Submit work which is not their own or yours, that means becomes a plagiarism. So it's going to be 0 awarded immediately. And then teacher how to manage copyright, like I said, then you need to understand this, guys. Lend their work to others and to lend their work to other learners, that you should avoid. Don't just exchange your work with your peers. And then I must be in your control all the time to make sure. And then see as continues here. Learner must not allow other learners access to the use of or their own independent source material. Teacher, no sharing of resources. Include work copied direct without acknowledging the source. That is a plagiarism, guys. Whatever any source that you have used, then you need to acknowledge that. And then okay. Submit work typed or word processing by a third person. That is a plagiarism. You must be very careful about that. And then I have to ensure that the final product gets done in class. Like, you know, the due date, guys, more especially those that are with me at school. But with other learners from different schools, that will be like, we've got the deadlines. So then maybe provincial for the moderation, like all the pets then are due next month. By the way I know, all phase 1s, like, and they need to go out external. Like with me, then all my pet phase 2 are due. When was it? That was they have to submit when we come back, guys. That is non-negotiable, guys. So we did most of this. And then as we go on, if a learner get caught copying and proven guilty, learner will not be resulted. This is a very serious irregulation that you have to know, guys. As I said, then I'll talk more about the PET guideline, and then what is it that, like, for example, the declaration of authenticity shows this is your original work, is your work. So I should see your name and your ID number, your grade, and the year. And then now, did you receive any help from anyone? If yes, provide the information of what nature here, then you acknowledge that. So that means you cannot be penalized because you have acknowledged that source. Non-compliance, the absence of a practical assessment task marked in any subject from grade 10 to 11 without or 12 without valid reason will result in a candidate registered for that particular subject receiving an incomplete results. That means you cannot receive your results if you don't complete this, guys. That means you'll have to redo that the following year. The candidate will be given 3 weeks before the commencement of the final exam for the grade 12s. You can't write your final exam without submission of the complete PET of the relevant grade to submit outstanding work or present himself or herself for a practical assessment task. Should the candidate fail to fulfill the outstanding practical assessment task requirements, that candidate will not be resulted and she must repeat the subject and redo the practical assessment task components for that subject. This is according to a national protocol assessment. So it's defined within this policy document that you can go through that document just to check that. All learners must complete PET phase 1 even if they have a valid reason. This is compulsory, guys, non-negotiable here. If you learner don't complete phase 2 or 3, there are marks that can be obtained from earlier phase. Then that one we have to use our own discretion as teachers. In the event of the learner not complying with the requirements of the practical assessment task in any subject from grade R to 12, but where valid reason is provided, she may be granted another opportunity to be assessed in assigned task based on the decision by head of an assessment body. I'm not the one to make decision here, guys, so just be clear about this. The learner must, within 3 weeks before the commencement of the final end of the year examination of the relevant grade, submit outstanding work or present himself or herself for the practical assessment task. So that means if your work is not done, you have to sit down and make sure that you complete everything, unless otherwise you will never be granted access into examination venue. So as this is a requirement. Now let's check in terms of what should be on your cover page for your report. Like I said, we need to write the reports under the information management. Yesterday when we spoke about this, insert borders only on the first page. That is a requirement. Avoid using RT borders. Just be simple, guys. Do not use wet art. Use appropriate font size. If you use picture, it must be appropriate, you understand? And use of content controls, it must be there, guys. For example, you know what are the content controls. So if, for example, they ask you to include the abstract, so that is, can I show you at least? I think when we do practical of all these things, it becomes much more easier for us to understand it. Then let me just check if Microsoft Word is open here, then I can know it's not. I'm just going to open the new Word document. Then I'll be sharing the screen thereafter. There we are. I believe then you can see now. Can I do this? Drive insert. You see on the quick part under the insert tab, then we've got what document property. So these are the controls that we are talking about. Like for example, if they want you to insert the abstract, so that should be inside that abstract. So that's what I should just see. That's what they are normally saying here. So that means if you have not included that, make use of the content control. So these are the content controls, guys. Insert pre-generated cover page, like for example, enter, put your name, pre-generated cover pages. Then if I go back, say then insert what cover page, we've got them already that have those kind of let's say this is pre-generated cover page, you see. Then already you've got those content controls, like you see this is a title, then this is subtitle, you understand? And then so look, let's have a look here, date, company, then abstract is also here, because remember there's abstract as a requirement. You can just come and insert that abstract, then you go to the quick, then you do like this, abstract, then you write your abstract now, you see. Where is it? No, let me just put this again, yeah. Okay, there we are. Then you write your abstract. So all those content control, like I said, use the rubric, guys. And then since we use the rubric, like, let me just go and then try to open our rubric so that you can be able to see how our PET is going to be assessed. Okay, I'll just share the rubric. So all this is for the marks. Like I said, you need to use a rubric as a checklist You put your name in author control so that you know how to do that. Comma name of the school in the title or a company or add the date, you understand? So that's why you put all this information in that cover page. If one of these requirements is missing, that means you're not going to be awarded any marks, you understand? So this is for the marks, guys. So if we can go back to that, I'm going to open that just now. Just bear with me so that at least you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. No cat. Okay, just a minute. Bear with me. Cat pet. Okay. No, what's going on here? Okay, yeah, there's the assessment rubric. So I want to share the assessment rubric so that we can know how to use it as a checklist whenever then you do your pet, guys. Okay, just do this. Brandon Romo. Okay. Sorry for any inconvenience for taking that long. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, the document is still loading. My apology. There we are now. Got it. It's now running. Okay, let me just do this and close this and then I'm going to share that again. There we are. I'm going to share that document that I'm talking about right now. This is what you can see down here. I've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and general and summary. The most important thing to do the checklist is this one. As you can see here, I've got this rubric. This is how we mark. Under your task definition, I'll check what the current situation, the purpose of investigation. Have you outlined that? If that's the case, all questions in the criteria are clearly answered in all. Only 3 of them, I'll just put you in between the two. Say, for example, this one is there, then I can say true. So if I'm saying true, but if I'm saying false, it's not there. False. For any false value, that means you don't get the mark there. False. There we are. Wait. False. False. There we are. You've got 3 now, you see. This is a self-assessment rubric that you can use. When it comes like this is what your task definition, what will you focus, what will the focus and purpose of your investigation be? How will you go about the PET? This one is already explained within your PET guideline, so then I don't have to tell you about that. Like they said, you must not give you over guidance of this. Who is the target audience for the final report? Like, for example, maybe if then you are solving the problem of why the people not buying a certain product, maybe for the young people, then that will be your target audience. Then you are interested to know why people of this age group, understand? So then these are the things. I'll check that in your report. So here, basically, I'm focusing on the task definition here. Then when I come to the research question, the focus question, I check clearly phrased, concise, researchable question that describe exactly what the focus of the investigation will be within the broader scenario, and that is relevant to what given in the task description. You understand? It must be relevant. So these questions, that's the one that I'm checking on the addendum. Clearly phrased, concise. Question will be researchable. Then I check that. Single sentence, not two. Question paragraph. And then I check that clearly relevant to focus point to, then these are the things I'm checking. Question quality. I'm checking on the questionnaires here. All questions provided are relevant to the topic, will help to address the problem, because these are the research questions, understand? Questions are representative of at least 3 different cognitive question level, you understand? So I check that. And at least 3 different categories grouping questions. Like in your, I did explain this earlier, like in your, you have to group these questions according to the heading. It falls under this heading, is defined already in your PET guideline, you understand? You check that. So more special, these things will appear on what your addenda. Technical aspect, I'm checking here. Technical aspects such as what? Number of questions and sources indicated. Learner identified a variety of the sources. I'll check if you have reference, you've got your bibliography, possible appropriate source type, for example, internet, printed media, people indicated for each question, at least 10 questions included in your questionnaires, like that table of the questions, your research questions. Number of the source excluded, at least 2 websites identified. Like for example, guys, myself, when I check, like here you see these attributes, source and bibliography. Then I'm going back to Word documents. I'll show you, because the most important thing, some people, they can just go to the internet and cut and copy. Then I said, myself, I check these content controls under the bibliography. Then when I come here to the source manager, then I'll check how many of the list of the sources that you have used. You see, current list of the source, nothing. Say, for example, the master source that were used by another person previously. Let me just do this. Then I can also copy this and copy this. Here, when I check here, then I'll see, okay, this person has a source. I did this. Then I check, okay, this person has used a website. And then this is the name of the website. The URL is this one. All the information is in there per that source of the information. Here, let's check what type of the source have you used. That is a book. Then I'll see, okay, this is your book. You understand? This is very important, guys, because you don't just go and cut and copy things. Then you must use these content controls. So that's what you want to assess. So that's very important, guys, for your sources. And at least one other source from other type media, like you've got different types of the sources. Like I said, if I go back again to that Microsoft Word document, like if you come to the manage your source, like I said, when we do the research, guys, then when you do your survey, your questionnaires, you rely on other people's source of information in order to answer. You see, this is a website. If you change, you say the book, these are all types of the sources that, like an interview, you see, the film, the patent. So whatever any source that you have mentioned here, then you'll have to fill in all the attributes in here for that particular information that we have collected, so that I know it's traceable. You understand? So unless otherwise, then we'll take this as a plagiarism, guys, because this is very simple, guys. Finally, just to insert this as your bibliography, like I said, so when you come to your source again, then you click in here on each source. Say, for example, like I said, you can do this and snip tool this, and then just paste it on your Word document. Snip. Just show you an example on how to do this. It's very simple, like this way, guys. Unlike, to make it so smart, then snip tool. So this is what you can simple do. Maybe take this part of this information, then I know. Okay, you just go and copy and paste this in your Word documents. Maybe then under your source 1, source 2, then you put that info there, then I know, okay, this guy already has done his research. Then I see that's your source number 1, then source number 2. So that's how you do this, because that also then will convince me that, okay, these guys have thoroughly has done his research on her research, understand? So that is quite much more important to do that, guys. So, and once again, okay, I'm going back again to the original slide. So like, these are the things that you need to do, guys, and then know how to use them. Headings is very important, like in a table of content. So we know from Microsoft Word, then we've studied this, we know how to insert the headings. So we've got, for example, can I go back to the same document again? So then as I'm going back to the same Microsoft Word document, like the one that I have, not this one, let me just not save this one, because I'm going to, okay, it's fine. Then I'm going to share this again. As I'm sharing that document again, okay, let me just check Microsoft Word. There's it. So like I said, I'm on Word right now. So I'm talking about how to insert the content. Like for example, on the tab, home tab, we've got the styles. All these styles, it's all about our headings. automatically then we've got headings and subheadings. Heading 1, heading 2, subheadings. You see, heading 1, you see, let's say for example, I'm going to copy. I'm just saying, okay, let me just remove this. I'm saying I've got introduction, okay, task definition, then under task definition, then you're telling me your investigation, purpose of investigation, purpose of investigation. Okay, there we are. Then also you tell us about the focus question, then how to go about doing the research, there we are. From there we can talk about what else. Again, we're still under the task definition. Does this and this. These are the subheadings under this one. From there, target audience, that's what you spoke about. That's, you have to tell me about your target audience. Okay, there we are. And then from there we can have what? The body of which now a body and discussion, or discussions. Okay, after that you can talk about what? Conclusion or the recommendation. But now from there you've got what? Addendums. Okay, let me just check here. Addendum, maybe A, addendum A. So addendum, okay, C, addendum B, then and C as well. Okay, there we are. From there, lastly, then we can insert what? Our bibliography. So now you can highlight all of this. So immediately when I highlight this, I'm saying, okay, this is my heading 1. So this is part of the revision. Heading 2, no, heading 1 again. So you see this one. But let's say all this here, these are subheadings. I'll just put them under heading 2, you see. Already then they'll appear under the table of content. So that's the same way we do with the source, because we need to use what? The reference tab up there. So that's how we can just come up with that, our professional looking documents. From there, then I'm saying all these are the headings as well, you understand? These are my headings, you see. From there, let me just insert only one new page here. So I'm going to insert the page. So I'm going to insert what? The blank page. That's what I'm going to insert. That's what you see now. I've got the blank page. On that blank page, then I've got my cover page. That's when I'm going to insert what? The table of content using what? The content controls as well. So then I have to go to the table of content, then insert the table of content, you see. There we are. Because of these already were defined, you see. Look, let's have a look. I'm just trying to show you how to come up with the profession. You see now, these are the headings, subheadings. You see how they align them. By default, let's say for example, I've got the bibliography lastly. Then I'm going to insert that bibliography. I go there, then insert what? Bibliography. Then, okay, I did a mistake. Let me just put it like this way, insert, what is it? Bibliography. There we are. I've got bibliography inserted right now. You see that's my bibliography. Let me just maybe take it on one page separately from all these others. So that's my bibliography. So when I go back to the table of content, you can just come and just update entire table, you see. Your bibliography will just come automatically there, you see. So this is how we do this, guys. Now we are trying to compile a professional looking. So bearing in mind that checklist, then we need to follow that checklist as well here. We need to follow that checklist. So as I'm going back, like you see all this table of content, the table of figures, if there are any, then you need to put them as per the PET requirements, because this is for the marks. So you check that in your checklist. If you've got that, you don't have the table of content, the table of figures, make sure that you include them. So under your table of content, then you need to have introduction. Under task definition, then we have seen what must appear, discussion and analysis, the findings as well. So that was just an example, guys. From there, you've got these appendices: one folder structure, two source table, two declaration. That what you must have as part of what your headings. That means everything must appear as part of what table of content, because it's part of what, whether is it a subheading or a heading. So it must be in there. So that's what it must. Headings, formatting. As we go on, font should be easy to read. Use Cambria or Calibra, etc. Font size between 12 and 18. Heading should stand out. Use heading style, e.g. appendix level 1, folder structure level 2. You understand? So like you've seen those levels of the headings, by the way. Heading one, level 1, level 2, then according to the requirements, then you need to apply that. Appendixes, a folder structure, screenshots of the actual folder must be taken. The source table and the declaration, the page layouts now. Add automatic pages, like I said. Use the page break for each heading, insert break, so that you know how to use this. Because now we are applying what we have learned from Microsoft Word. Like I said, now we are integrating almost all the concepts that we have learned from different subjects. Not subject, I mean, so the chapters within our, use the section breaks, put page in the escape, change the page numbering format and start numbering at 1. So all these things you need to include them, guys, understand? Single report document present. So then you need to have one. Minimum headings present, table of content, table of figures, introduction, task definition, focus, findings and conclusion, all headings for these marks. Like I say here, if I don't get these, guys, that means you are missing out the marks. And addendum with the diagram, screenshots of the actual folder structure for phase 1 included, screenshots or diagram in the addendum. So if I don't see that, you don't get the marks. Evidence of the source available. Like I said, completed table of questions and source table with all columns is presented. That I need to get that as well. That is so important, guys. Like I said, for discussion and analysis, we don't focus on that one. So you'll add these findings and in phase 2. That's why, because you need to amend your report as well in phase 2 here. That's what I said. So then I think that's it for all about today. Then can I entertain the questions from your side? I see that's only one person, Tribal. Like I said, I'm going back to the rubric again. So let me just share this rubric again. Like you see the rubric here. So like when we mark, I'll check the source one. Do I have any author, name of the website, the date access, the URL? But if you have used that content control under the reference tab, then you'll be able to do all these things. Instead, at least 3 of them. So it's for the marks. You'll get your marks here. So you'll get your marks, understand? So then I'll just have to tick. True. Like you see, it's false here. If I'm saying true, then let me just say true. Okay, I see there's a question, Tribal. I'll just be with you. And then let's have a look. Look, what is happening? It's adding the marks. It's adding the marks because I see that we have included that. But if not, then I'm not going to say, I'll just say false. So you see for one source, you've got 1 marks already. Then when I'm going to the second one again and say, this was false, then it's true, then I see that. I've got that, then I'll say, okay, this is true, then I've got that as well, this is true. Then if I'm saying, okay, I've got that as well, the date and the URL, then this is true. Then at least, then your URL, then true. Let's check. Now you've got how many marks? Let's check, 2, you understand? That means for the first source, you get 1 marks. So including whether you have included all of these. Okay, let me just check. See, there's a group chat. So you mean I must share? No, they'll go to YouTube, say, because this is live streaming, so they can access it. They must go to African Teen Geek. They must check today's lesson. They'll download it from there. So it's streamlined. It's live now on YouTube. And so which criterias? Okay, which criterias are you talking about? Okay, like as you see here, as I'm continuing again, one other thing, like table completed for at least 2 websites and 1 source clearly. Like if I check this one, I'll check the authority, currency, and accuracy and objectivity. Then you should be able to define this within the scope of your, and also the most important on the table of the addendum, I need to see the summary of your information. All summary are in a learner's own words. That I'll have to check that. And single reports document present, then I'll just give you the marks if I see that. Minimum heading present, table of content, table of figures. You see, all this is for the marks, guys, understand? So if you leave this, that means you're not going to get your marks. Up to so far, this is, you can use it as what? Assessment rubric, as in like you're going in phase 2 as well. So you use this one, like for example, well thoughts, we check well thought out questionnaire that will provide answer to question not likely to be found in other source. So, okay, let me just check. No, driver, I did, but okay, it's fine. I'll share it. Yes, no problem. I'll share it. So I believe everyone does have it before then, but no, it's fine. I'll just reshare it again. So it doesn't matter. No problem. Okay, like as you see here, when you check, this is all about the questionnaires that you have to create. Like, look, at least 25 completed questionnaires. That means your respondent, like what you have seen yesterday when I was just making an example on the Google Forms. Like your respondent, at least I need to see 25 of them. So if not, that means I'll say false. Question and processing in spreadsheet. That means yes. That means because already that questionnaire, you should have just exported them into your Excel. Like I said, if that is the case, then I'll just take it through. Relevant mostly provide answer to the question that can be found in other source or that supplement, verify or clarify. Then I'll just, that one depends on my own discretion how I see that. And now form is created electronically. Then I'll say yes if you've got Google Form. Appropriate questions are grouped together under the relevant headings. Then they must be under the headings. Then I'll just professional formatting and layout of the appropriate word processing documents. Example techniques. Then so I'll say that if I see that already on your questionnaire. Spreadsheet, only relevant appropriate data collected and captured, excluding biographical data. Then I'll say that if I see that. That if not, then I'll say, okay, processing function done correctly. Remember, you have to apply the functions in here. You understand? So for example, in terms of the functions, let's check this one. Spreadsheet complexity. The following present the 4 different levels of complexity of the spreadsheet functions. For me to grade you here, guys, you see this one, at least one meaningful calculation from level 1. These are the levels. The level 1 functions, we've got sum, maximum, mini, count, average, all these functions that appears under this clause here, then they all fall under level 1. Level 2, then I'll check round, large, small, left, right, concatenate, all this, we did this in class. That means you should be able to use all these functions in your data analysis. If not, then that means you're not going to get the marks. So I need to just, when I check at least one meaningful calculation from level 2, then you'll get the marks. Level 3, we've got power, mid, find, count if, sum if, round up, round between. You understand? These are the functions that you need to use. That means all the functions are very important to be applied in your data analysis. Like if I check level 4, then they all fall in here. Like your lookup function, nested if functions, then all these functions, we did them in class. If I check, okay, there's no function like this one, then that is false, that you don't get the marks. That's how to create yourself basically based on this. I think that's end of the lesson for today for our pet. Then good luck till we meet again on the same platform. Then I'll just like entertain the questions from your side before then we can just quit our presentation. Unless otherwise we can just call it a day till we see again next week. So now we are doing the revised ATP, this term 3 work that we are covering right now. So that was information management. It's all about your practical assessment task, because it shows you now then how to integrate all this one into one. Like now we are creating a project here. So if there's no question, I'll just like to call it a day.